I want to pontificate on what Scott Adams said in regards to he's been getting all this positive feedback. Like, people know he's not a racist. He's been getting these nice messages. Like, he's never gotten so much nice feedback as when he went on a racist rant, all this stuff. And then he said, but people are not willing to say it publicly because they don't want the heat. What are you going to do? And this was kind of like eerily similar to a conversation I had last night in my locals community where we do if you're a supporter on locals or on Patreon or on Substack, you get access to two community Zoom calls that I do every single week. We do them on Mondays and Wednesdays. And late last night on the Monday call, we were talking about cancel culture and we were kind of joking and laughing. And I don't have any bad feelings towards anyone on the call. I want to say that for people who are there. I'm not going to name names or anything. But one of the people on the call, like we were joking and basically like one of the people on the call wanted me to like provoke Chrissy Mayer into bullshit. And I was joking that, oh yeah, I should do that because Chrissy Mayer is like a bimbo, whatever. But then another person spoke up and said, Carlin, it puts all of us in like an awkward position when, that when activists are like fighting each other and doing all this sort of stuff. And I was like, I've been attacked and canceled for 2 straight years by these people. Cancel culture is a real thing, but it's not just one-offs like what happened to Scott Adams. For some of us, and I know I'm not the only one that this happens to, I have been mobbed over and over and over and over again by people claiming to be anti-woke, because I don't get canceled from the left. I get canceled from the right repeatedly. And when I'm not being mobbed by thousands and thousands of people, what happens is I'm harassed openly every single day of my life, and I have been for the past 2 years. These people have tried to destroy my marriage. These people have doxed my friends. These people have quite literally deplatformed me. These people deplatformed my school's exposed program. These are people claiming to be anti-woke. They got me canceled off of Kickstarter. They were bragging about it. These people also got me deplatformed off of Twitter after mass reporting me, claiming to be anti-woke. These people smear me almost every day of my life. These people make memes of me where they basically position me as like a 400-pound woman, which I'm not, by the way, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is quite literally every day of my life. And I've gotten to a place where I'm pretty used to it right now, but it really took a toll on me last year for about a year and a half. I was extremely depressed. To the point where I wasn't getting out of bed, to the point where I was breaking down, to the point where I almost quit, all because I was being constantly, constantly, constantly harassed by people claiming to be anti-woke. Why do they do it? Because they're jealous that I have a bigger platform than they do and I'm more effective than they are. Is what I think. Because all of the people doing this are absolute losers. They're absolute losers that accomplish nothing and do nothing. But those aren't the people I want to talk about. Because those people are losers and ridiculous and will never accomplish anything in life. What I want to talk about are the people watching. Because I understand what it's like to be openly harassed every single day of my life and to have a lot of people watching it and a lot of people knowing it's wrong and then not doing anything about it. And not only not doing anything about it, but actually coming to me on the rare occasions where I stand up and try to defend myself from this. And they come to me and treat me as though I'm the problem. When they're watching a mob of people openly harass and smear me every day. And every once in a while, I speak up and I say, this is bullshit. These people are insane. And then I'm the one that the people that are looking on come to and say, Carlin, you're making me feel really uncomfortable. And I just don't want to be put in the middle of this. And I don't know why you have to talk about these people. And can't you just focus on the work that you're doing? And they're doing it in the midst of me, quite frankly, doing more than most people on the internet combined. I've been doing some math lately. I have broken more anti-woke stories than almost anyone on the internet. I'm not a journalist. I broke the biggest anti-woke story of all time with the Coke Be Less White story. That story got over 30 million views on Twitter alone. I broke that. I broke the Burlington school story in conjunction with the people in my community that helped me do the research, because that wasn't all just me. I have broken story. I broke the story. I broke the story that became the first ever lawsuit against CRT in public schools. I was the one who broke that before it was a lawsuit. I was the first one to talk about it. I have a list a mile long of stories that I've broken that have gained national media attention, and a lot that haven't, but that were stories that should have had attention and that weren't talked about anywhere else. I was the one that broke the story that launched Chris Rufo's career in the anti-woke space. I was the one who broke the story about the segregated training in Seattle. That was the story that Chris Rufo picked up on and followed up on, and that was how he got involved in the anti-CRT space. And I'm not saying any of this to brag, because I don't really feel the need to get credit for this stuff a lot of the times. But that's reality. I have done more than almost anyone. I probably am in the top 5 people of all people who are doing journalism in this space to break new and original stories that are not reported anywhere else. I don't copy shit from the Daily Wire. I don't copy shit from the Blaze. I don't copy shit from the Post Millennial. If anything, they are the ones that copy shit from me. And in the midst of this, I have been attacked and harassed almost every single minute of the last 2 years by people in the so-called anti-woke space. And while that's been happening, not only have I been breaking these news stories, but I've developed the Schools Exposed program. I've launched the Unwoke art, store that I'm now selling Unwoke art. I've written a book about how to fight back against the woke left. I have recorded about over 30 podcasts that are freely available about how to fight back against the woke left. I have built a community of people who are dedicated to fighting back against the woke left. I do this all day, almost every day of the week. And while this is happening, and while I am being more productive than almost any other person in the space, and while I am constantly and perpetually harassed by a mob of people, I have another mob of people over here. And this is the mob of people who are watching what's happening to me, being harassed almost every day of my life, not doing a goddamn thing to stop it, not speaking up and say, stop what you're doing, this is wrong. No, they don't do any of that. What they do is they come to me and they complain anytime I defend myself. And this is the real problem that I have. Because I knew, being in this space, that I was going to get canceled. I knew that. I had prepared for that. I don't think I prepared for how badly it was going to hit me. And let me tell you, it does change you. When you are canceled repeatedly over a time span of a couple of years, repeatedly, it changes you. I'm a fundamentally different person now than I was 2 years ago. I have lost a lot of empathy that I had 2 years ago because of the harassment that I've experienced. But the people that today I have the least amount of empathy for are the people who claim to be against woke culture and are too cowardly to stand up when it's happening to someone who is actually doing more than most people to fight back against it. Scott Adams talked about this in that video. He said that, he's been getting all these nice private messages from people, but they just won't speak up when it matters. That is universally true. I've been called an anti-Semite up and down the internet. Ironically, by the actual anti-Semites on Gab, the actual neo-Nazis that I've gone after when no one else did. They call me a Jew, but the rest of the internet's called me an anti-Semite over and over and over again when I was the one that exposed the neo-Nazis trying to call out the anti-CRT movement. No one else did that. That was me. And so I look at all these people who are watching this happen and who do nothing but complain on the rare occasion when I defend myself, and I say, you are a fucking coward. I look at all these people who are sending Scott Adams nice messages because they know he's not a racist, and they're watching him get canceled up and down, losing his entire thing, and he may well have planned it, and that's fine. But I look at those people who know what's happening is wrong, and I say, you are a fucking coward. If you claim to be against woke culture, and you claim to be against cancel culture, and you sit back when it's happening to someone that is actually doing things that are productive, and you do nothing, and you don't speak up because you don't want the mob to come for you, you are a fucking coward. And I gotta tell you, I think that the last month of watching this stuff with Eliza Blue play out has been really, really, really educational. Because I now know for a fact that that the fact that they weren't speaking up had nothing to do with me. That was actually a question in my mind before. When people weren't standing up and trying to defend me from being attacked by this mob, I thought, am I really that much of a bitch? I don't think I am. But maybe other people do. Maybe other people really think I'm that much of a bitch and I don't deserve to be defended, even though I've done more than almost any other person in this fucking space to expose what's going on. So I really thought that maybe I deserved it. But then I saw what happened with Eliza Blue, and I saw exactly the same people. Exactly the same people who should have known better. Exactly the same people who do have platforms. Either do nothing, say nothing, or actively go after her. And it was really clarifying to me because I think it showed me that it wasn't about me personally. It was just that these people are fucking cowards. They are cowards who are more interested in money and status than they are in doing the right thing. And they only claim to be against woke culture and against cancel culture because it helps them make money and it helps them maintain their status. And that is it. But when push comes to shove, will they act in accordance with those principles? No, they will not. And they've now shown it to us over and over and over and over and over and over again. These people are cowards. And they don't speak up because they don't want the mob to come for them. But what they don't understand is that the mob will come for them. And because they haven't spoken up, no one's going to be there when they need it. No one's going to be there. I don't speak up for anyone anymore. You want to know why? Except for people who have been there for me. I will always have the back of people who've been there for me. But I've been raked over the coals 19 ways from Sunday for no good reason other than some insane, unhinged lunatics are jealous that I have more subscribers than they do. I have had my family torn apart. I have lost friends, real friends, because they've been doxxed. I have had my community harassed. I have had everyone who openly supports my content harassed. All because these people are jealous that I have more subscribers than they do. And I had all that happen. And so much more that I'm not going to list now. And I've had people watching the entire time, and they're more concerned about not having their fucking feelings hurt. oh, Carlin, I just don't make me choose, and I just feel like I'm in the middle of things, and I don't want to feel like I'm in the middle of it. Can't you just shut up and just take it? And like, you know what? It's easy to say that when you're not the one that's being harassed every single fucking day. You fucking coward. I have no patience for these people anymore. Absolutely none. If you sit back and watch a cancel mob go after someone who didn't do anything wrong, except possibly say some words that offended your fragile sensibilities, then you are a coward. I don't agree with what Scott Adams said. I don't like that he said it. I think it was unnecessary. But I would never campaign to cancel him. And I would never watch a cancel mob go after someone who I respect, who has done good work, who has taught a lot of people, who has been a really valuable voice, without saying that cancel culture is wrong, what you're doing is wrong, and if you are against cancel culture and if you're not saying something, you are a coward. I got my start in the anti woke space in 2019, in September of 2019. Let me show you what I did. Hang on, I can show you really quickly. I just need to get it pulled up. We will go over to my Substack where I actually document the bullying. This is the only place that I've documented the bullying. I actually even haven't documented all of it, but there's enough here to get us started. Let me get into my archive of Surviving Carrie Smith. This is survivingcarriesmith.substack.com, and I want to go here because one of the things they did is they claimed that I lied about my red pill journey. They spread all over the internet that I was lying about my red pill journey. Well, guess what? I have all the receipts because I post everything on the internet. On October 5th, 2019, in the midst of the knitting wars on Twitter, or not Twitter, excuse me, on Instagram, this is when, for those who don't know, I came from the knitting community that went woke, and these woke knitters were going around trying to destroy everyone. Um, I watched this happen. I watched businesses be destroyed. I watched one man go into the hospital on suicide watch because he was so mobbed and attacked by people in the knitting community. What you're seeing here is the first time that I ever stood up and said something against the mob. And I didn't have to. I was just a knitter, man. I didn't know any of these people. I was just a woman who used Instagram to look at yarn and to look at projects. And I saw the knitting community eating itself. And I decided to say something, to say that it was wrong. And what I did was I posted this image on, you can see the date, October 5th, 2019. And this is live on Instagram, by the way. Let me put it in the chat. And I said, bullying is when someone is targeted for isolation, humiliation, and aggression when they don't have the ability to defend themselves. That was all I did. And let me read what I wrote. What I wrote is like a little bit woke. I said, bullying is never right, and it never leads to progress or justice or fairness or any of those noble aims. And I know there are so many people in the community. I know there are so many people who feel this way in the community, but are terrified to say something because of the potential repercussions. If you don't stand up and say it, you can never change it. I'm just an average person with not too many followers, and so who knows if people will ever see it, but it doesn't matter. Expression is a gift, and at least I can express this without fear of my ability to support myself and my family being destroyed in the process. And I wish others would stand up and say it too. I'm sorry that I didn't sooner. And I got all sorts of comments yelling at me. All because I said that bullying is when someone is targeted for humiliation, isolation, and aggression when they don't have the ability to defend themselves. When I had nothing, I stood up against the mob, even though I didn't know any of the people involved. because I wanted to set an example of someone who stands up against a mob. Yeah. Who knows who will see this aged well? It did, didn't it? And I'm nothing special. I'm nothing unique. Anyone can do this. The problem is that not enough people are doing it because people are afraid and they think the mob's going to come for them when they speak up, and they will. The mob that came for Eliza Blue has been coming at me for the last week because I spoke up and I said I believed Eliza Blue. So now they're coming for me. I actually wrote about it because I knew they were going to come for me because they told me they were going to come for me. They flat told me they were going to come for me. All because I stood up and I said that Eliza Blue told the truth. And I do still believe that. So, when I see things like people with platforms that can stand up and damn well say something, and they choose not to, or they want to get in my ear and complain about me defending myself against a mob of people that they have watched attack and harass me and everyone I love for 2 fucking years, and they want to complain that I'm daring to defend myself as though I'm the problem, I say you are a fucking coward. I stood up for people I didn't even know 3 years ago. Over 3 years ago now. I didn't have anything to gain by that when I did it, and I did it because it was the right thing to do. So don't fucking ever tell me that you care about cancel culture and you care about stopping woke culture when you are unwilling to do the bare minimum and stand up when people are being attacked by a woke cancel mob for no good reason. If you do not stand up and say something, you are a coward, and I don't care how you feel about me defending myself from a mob that's been harassing me for 2 years because people in the so-called anti-woke space are too fucking cowardly to stand up and say anything. That's all I have to say about that.